This is Devin Kraft from the Science Faction Podcast. You're listening to the BS Podcast Network. Enjoy the show.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond is a familiar dimension. Not one of sight, but a dimension of sound and of the creative mind. You're moving into a land of artistic buffs, talking Disney stuff. You've just crossed over into Magic Our Way. New Orleans, present day. Amid the ever-changing landscape of the Disney fan life, two men, a musician and a visual artist, tackle the news, the rumors, and the dreamings of the day. Now joined by a comic book writer and a travel agent, they will bring you new insights and tease out new thoughts of the films, the parks, and the community at large. Tonight's episode will take you beyond the formats of most podcasts and calls upon the listener. This, you may soon realize, is a listener-driven podcast, heavily influenced by its Mohican nation waiting for you. They invite you, if you'd care, to reach out via social media, email, text, or voicemail. So let's go make some magic. Jumbo, everyone, and Harambe.
Harambe!
And welcome to another edition of the Magic Our Way podcast. Asante San, everyone. You're listening to the Magic Our Way podcast from New Orleans, Louisiana, in the United States of America. We are artistic buffs talking about Disney stuff. And this is the show in which every opinion is welcome. MagicOurWay.com is where you can find us. My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
And on this show, we follow the Disney concept of edutainment, where we focus on your entertainment. And along the way, you just might learn a thing or two.
Hey.
And as always, to join in our discussion, we have our resident comic genius from IvoryComics.com, Mr. Eli Hodges. Ivory, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing? How y'all's peoples doing?
We're doing great, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me, as always.
We love it. We love it.
I love it all.
And of course, on the show as well, we have Mr. Mockingbeard, Creepy Drippy Dwarf, Lee Earp. It is our resident travel agent from Magical Moments Vacations, Mr. Lee Lastavica. How you doing, sir? Where the hell are you?
Mellow greetings, citizen.
Hello.
Hey.
Sorry. Man, thank you guys. It's been a hectic week trying to figure this out, so I appreciate it. Yeah, man, I'm here. We're ready to do this. And
Okay. What the
Are we ready to do yet? I'm here. Thanks for hearing. This been a tough time.
This is my way of saying thank y'all for being accommodating to my crazy schedule.
He's like that kid that got called on at class that clearly wasn't following along with the lecture.
They were writing notes.
And it's like, Lastavica, what is your answer?
George Washington.
B. I answer B.
It's like it's not multiple choice, sir.
All right, listeners, to kind of give you an idea of what Lee's very excited to do, we are talking about the decade that has passed in the world of Disney. Specifically for us, we're defining the decade as 2010 through 2019. That is 10 years. And we will be talking on this particular show about our list of the 10 best Disney movies in that decade. So we'll give you a little bit more description as far as what went into this, a little bit of research and narrowing down of all those movies in the hub segment. So enough of my jibber jabber. Let's go talk about some Disney movie magic. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hub. And today we are talking about the best Disney company movies of the past decade. And basically, just to kind of give you an idea what this includes, if you have Disney Plus, you know it includes all those properties. So Lucasfilm, Disney Animation, Pixar, and this also includes Miramax, Touchstone, all those particular films. And specifically, it even does not include the movies that were before any kind of merger. So Lucasfilm got acquired in October 2012, I believe. So any films before that were included, and that goes for the same thing for the Marvel Universe. So things like Iron Man, Captain America, First Avenger, those movies weren't included in this list, in this particular list as well.
Totally screwed up Eli's list.
That's right. It's so dis.
Yes. But that's the parameters we set for ourselves. And the way we did this exercise was that each of us came up with our top 10 individually. And then what we did is we combined the list together, and there was a lot of overlap because, that's why we do a show, because there's a lot of things that we have in common that we like. And there were quite a few standouts. So normally what was 40, should have been a list of 40, overlapped and became a list of like 20 or so, 20, 21, somewhere in there. From that, we basically took the ones out that only had one vote. And then what do we do next?
Then the ones where there were only 2 votes for.
Yes, thank you.
We had to
juggle between
a little bit and kind of do our own little in voting. But for the most part, we had about 7 to 8 movies that we all agreed they needed to be in there. So there wasn't a whole lot of disagreement at all. So I think we're ready to roll, man.
This is why we do a show together, of course.
Yeah.
It's like the American Idol of the Disney movies of the past decade.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's dive right on in. And trust me, when it's all done, we will tell you our individual lists. We'll roll through them real quickly so that you can see that. Because I'm sure a couple of your favorites got left off. And you're like, why no love? Well, somebody probably did give it love.
Yeah. And, we'd love to hear your list as well. What were your top 10 for the past decade within those parameters?
Yeah. All right, and we got our first text message of the day.
Somebody's excited.
Turkey Lake 69 says, "OMG, best opening ever, JK."
I was spooked for a second. I know it was me.
I have no idea where that came from. That's
Okay,
weird.
well,
Okay.
No, it wasn't. Okay.
I'm not.
No, it
hooked up
wasn't,
to
it wasn't
anything.
me, but anyway, all right, so we'll start with our number 10. The top 10, we'll count down to 1. Is that good? We'll go backwards.
Sure.
Per se. So this is our number 10 movie for that decade, and we lead off with Saving Mr. Banks, released in 2013.
Now that was a really good movie. I think I was the highest on that movie. I had it at my 5th spot. Kevin, you had it at the 9th. This was one of the ones that was on the verge of elimination, and both Eli and Lee put it at 10.
Yeah, this was where did I have it in my original list? I forget. I'll have to look that up. But that one, I had at least 6 that were definite on my list. And then this was a part of the 4, which I had to try to figure out. It took me a little while to kind of figure out where I want to put it, but I knew I had to have it in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the first time Walt was portrayed by any kind of actor. Of course, it was Tom Hanks, so that was great. We got some insight into what happened, how that was acquired. So that was really, really cool to kind of see that story. And
the father story,
yeah,
father-daughter story that kind of undermined the whole thing.
Yeah. Colin,
I'm sorry.
What's his name?
The undertone.
Yeah.
I can't figure out how to say the right word.
The underminer.
Because that's the undermine. I'm like, wait, that's a bad thing.
Subplot? The subplot?
The primary plot point was whether or not he could ever obtain the rights from P.L. Travers to the books, so that way he could make the movie. But the subplot, I guess you would say, that ran throughout the movie was the daughter-father relationship that she had with her father.
You like the emotional beat.
I like that it addressed a really important time in the history of the company, something that you didn't know anything about, something that's like a really cool, true, but not true story, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously they embellished a little bit, but it had its roots in reality. I mean, at the very end of the movie, they play the actual tapes where she's criticizing them. Yeah. And the portrayal of Tom Hanks as Walt Disney was just spot on. Emma Thompson she brought that character to life. I mean, I didn't really care about P.L. Travers up until then. Yeah.
And even the throwback imagery of old Disneyland.
Yes.
The way they did that was actually kind of cool.
Absolutely.
That was definitely an enjoyable movie. And for those that are like, man, how could you put it 10? It's like, look, this is number 10 out of a total of 125 movies that were released in that decade. So,
right.
10's not shabby. No. This is, like I said, this is our cream of the crop, so to speak.
And I had it at 5, so.
Yeah, so it's definitely a great movie. If you haven't watched it, definitely go check that out. And then, of course, Walt's Frozen Head. You got to check that out afterwards. But anyway.
Oh, you know what? We should have included that.
Walt's Frozen Head. Be a honorable mention.
Where was it acquired?
It had to be released by Disney.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So
it's my number 11.
It's your number 11. Okay, good. All right.
Yeah, Walt's Frozen Head is my number 11.
Cool. All right. So
thanks for saying the joke twice.
I think he's on a long delay.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah,
it's a real long ass delay.
Yeah.
Said it twice.
It is thick today.
In case we didn't hear it the first time.
Yeah.
One more time.
Delay's got some length.
Yes.
He's like the dude from Goodfellas. Get the papers. Get the papers.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so here is our number 9 movie of the decade, and it is Big Hero 6, released in 2014. This one was a tough one. I had it on my list, and I had it off my list. This is what, and then it came down to like, well, this is one of those movies where I would watch. I would watch it again. My kids would repeatedly watch it, whenever we were going on the road. The Baymax character, it's great. The kid, Hero has this whole conflict with himself about, going after the person that supposedly killed his brother, or I guess he did kill his brother, spoilers. But, and it's all just, it was really, really cool. I knew nothing of this. And Eli, you probably knew about these guys from Marvel, right? Somewhat, yeah. I had no idea. I didn't even realize they were a Marvel movie. I just, at first, before I knew it was a Marvel movie, I was like, wow, I kind of enjoy this movie. This is actually really neat. And I find myself just watching it over and over and over again. And eventually it ended up back on my list.
It's a very kinetic film, if that's a way to put it. I mean, it keeps you engaged. It's a visual spectacle. I mean, there's always something happening. I can see the love for that.
Yeah. And it's one of those movies also, too, is like, I wouldn't mind to see where they go from here. Because that's obviously the movie was like the establishment of the Big Hero 6. I guess that's what they call themselves, that team.
Yeah.
Superheroes, so to speak. Yeah. So I would like to see... I would entertain further adventures of those guys to see what else they come up with. I don't know what the comics brought. I don't know. Danny, did you read any of those comics, or are you familiar with them?
No, I didn't.
Much?
But they do have a TV series. They do have a Big Hero 6 TV series.
That's true.
I want to check that out. I've never. It wasn't a film that really resonated with me that much. I tried to get into it. I didn't. The villain wasn't all that good. I mean, it was a beautiful looking story that the team seemed a little hokey.
Yeah.
I don't know. It would be probably in my top 20. I don't know about my top 15, let alone top 10.
Right. Cool.
Thanks for your input, Lee.
Do you have anything on that?
It's a good thing we move things around so they could be on the show, huh? Is he there? Did we lose him?
I just add that.
There he is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I just add that it was, to me, I like this movie, the fact that it's very unique from most of the other Disney movies. It just, when I watched it, I felt like I hadn't seen this story or this done in this way before. And so it definitely stuck with me. And so it was very original and something that I would like to see again and again. So it's just not the same old, same old.
All right, and just so y'all know, in the rankings on this, Eli has it at 6. I put it at 10. Kevin put it at 10. And Lee put it at 7. So Eli's the highest on Big Hero 6.
Love it.
All right, moving on. This is our number 8 movie of the decade. And this is Rogue One, a Star Wars story, released in 2016. And this was one of the ones where I had trouble putting... I had it in my top 10, but I didn't know where exactly to put it. So it kept moving around based upon stuff that I kept remembering. Like, oh yeah, the guy's like I am with the Force and the Force is with me, or something like that. They had that little Asian dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Donnie
Yen. It was awesome. Yeah, Donnie Yen. It was and he had his buddy with the big old gun, and I was like, and the robot, the killer robot, and they had all kind of different characters that I just remembered. Because to be honest, I started watching it, and it's like at the beginning, I was like, the beginning. And then I turned it off because I was pressed for time. And then afterwards, I started remembering all the different scenes that were in there, from Saw Gerrera and all those different guys. And I was like, oh, yeah, man, I do dig this movie. So it kept moving around for me. I don't know how it ended up for you guys as far as in rankings or if it played that much for in y'all's world as it did in mine.
I like the fact that it really brought in an element of... kind of like with Saving Mr. Banks. It took an element of Star Wars history that had been undiscussed and said, oh, yeah, there was an explanation for this. This is how this happened. And there's a really cool story behind it. And that's what I thought was the genius of it. Now, it's a dark movie. I mean, it goes from dark to bleak.
Oh, yeah.
There's not a whole lot of happiness or joy. Like... The way I said it, there was another movie I was trying to decide between the two. And the way I put it is like, if I was flipping through, if I saw this movie, I would stop. But if I stopped at a particular part, I might be like, ugh, I'll come back later and see whether or not they get to something a little bit more upbeat. But anyway, it's a fabulous movie. We were curious whether or not we'd ever have a Lucasfilm end up in this top 10 list. I mean, especially with the...
Yeah. That's the thing that was torturing me. I was like, man, I should have a Star Wars movie in here.
Mm-hmm.
But what the hell am I going to put in here?
Yeah,
and then what clinched me was the end scene. And spoilers, if you haven't seen it, it's been 4 years. Statute of limitations is done. Blah. But anyway, so what hooked it for me was I remember the scene of Darth Vader being shown as a complete badass at the end of the film.
Yeah.
Busting through and just destroying rebels left and right. And like, holy, I remember when I saw that in the theater, I was just like, holy crap.
Yeah.
You know, freaking Anakin's going nuts. Mm-hmm. He's going rogue. Do it. That's one rogue. But, and then you got the Carrie Fisher, computer CGI kind of thing. And that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
And then it transitions right into New Hope. And I was like, well, this movie's pretty badass.
It's like the Lion King 1.5. You know?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Well, that's the thing. I liked it because I didn't expect it to be anything, and then I was really surprised upon watching. And I'm a Donnie Yen fan. I like Ip Man, but that's a different story. So I mean, again, you have those characters that I liked, and I like the sarcastic robot. So the characters in general, when you don't put any expectations on the movie, it's kind of crazy how that works, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't put any expectations on it, and then boom, you got a gem. But don't feel bad about not adding the other Star Wars movies on there, because I mean that'd have been a completely different debate altogether. We probably would have thrown cups at you. Put that on there.
Well, you know what's funny is like I thought for some reason this movie was the one where they had the beginning of the movie. They're like bombs away, and they're bombing this ship.
No,
that was. And then I realized, wait, no, that's not it. That was one of the new trilogy.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, cool. Rogue One's totally in.
that was Rose's sister, right?
Yeah. Rose's sister. Bombs away.
Yeah. It was a good
gem. In space. Yeah,
it was a good gem.
And this actually, I ranked this one higher than any of you guys. And to me, number one, I mean, let's just say this. What a tragedy that none of the other three could even be considered. I mean, they didn't even make the top 15
right.
for me. I mean, and I hate to harp on that since we just did the review, but the last one we just watched could maybe make the top 20. Maybe, but the other two is just I have no interest in ever seeing those movies again. So
I don't know. I might put Force Awakens in my top 20. I think I put Force Awakens before I put Rise of Skywalker.
Maybe, but I mean, it just all I'm saying is that those maybe for me no, but I could see where you might
awesome debate
could do that. But
Jimmy,
for me personally, this was the only one that deserved to be anywhere in the top.
Okay. Yeah.
As when we did the review, we said it then. It's the only Star Wars movie that has actually war scenes, So I mean, this is like the Saving Private Ryan of Disney movies.
Sure.
To make another analogy, so I don't know. I thought it was great. I'll watch this over and over again. I like what they did with it. Hopefully they'll do more of these types of movies where it's like, hey, we've always wondered about so and so, so. That's why it was so high for me.
And then came a Solo story.
I walked right all past.
Honestly, okay.
I walked right all past.
It's not going to make anyone's top list, but I don't think that movie was as bad as everyone made it out to be. It is what it is. And if you walk into it and you just want a fun movie to be entertained by with jokes and blah blah blah, it was fine.
Yeah,
it wasn't trash, but. Whatever. I mean, it got trashed, but I don't think it should have been trashed. It was
# not my Han Solo.
Exactly. That's a fair point, though. And again, with this Rogue One, you have characters you're not used to, you don't know anything about. So again, you don't expect anything, and it surprise you. But yeah, if you have if they do a Luke Skywalker movie and Shia LaBeouf is Luke Skywalker, I'd probably cringe.
Ray, just do it.
Do it.
Ray, just do it.
Do it. Just swing the saber. Yeah. I mean, so I didn't watch. I didn't see the Solo. I mean, if you suggest it, I'll check it out.
I saw it for the first time over the holiday break. I had 2 weeks off from work, winter recess, and I was like,
It just didn't.
It's fine.
Well, the part that aggravated me was how he got Solo as his last name. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I was like, really? Are we going to do it that way?
That's how it's done.
I thought how him and Chewie were kind of cute. How they met was kind of cute, where they're both prison guys, guys in prison. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Okay.
So that was I could deal with that. But yeah, the whole Han, I don't have a last name. Solo, you're a Han Solo. I was like, really?
You don't have a last name.
Come on, really? Oh man. Sorry, spoilers.
I don't care. I'll be the Solo one on that one.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah, but check it out. It's worth a check. I was in a big Star Wars thing over the winter break, so I've been watching.
I bet you were. Yeah.
It's funny how easy it is to get last names in the future. Where are you? Solo. Skywalker. Call me Skywalker now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I like that's it. That's who he is right there.
Meanwhile, you got to go to court. You got to get your driver's license. You got to bring a birth, 2 forms of ID.
Next time we go to Galaxy's Edge, I'll walk in like, "What's your name, Kevin?" And then let's see, I don't have a last name. It's like, well, let's see. I heard this about you, Kevin. All right.
Oh,
well, yeah. Well, did you say Sitwell? No, Sitwell. That's okay. Sure, whatever you say, imp.
Oh no! And this is his friend Bounty over here.
Yeah. Eli snores or
snores greatly.
Snores greatly.
That would be.
Sleeps like that.
Yeah, sleeps like that.
That's right. That's what we can name. That's right.
Lee Beard.
Lee Beard.
But, that was look. I got to tell a little funny side story real quick. So
absolutely.
We're sitting there. We're texting each other, trying to figure out how we're going to make this list thing work for this topic. And as we're going through it, Lee says, "Okay, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to text you on my list, but I'm going to do it after I call up this client and help them book their trip." I'm like, all right, cool. Client comes first. Gotcha. So Lee stops texting us, and immediately I see my cell phone's ringing, but it's a group FaceTime call. And It's for me, for Eli, and for Kevin. You were probably asleep. This was before 4. So, yeah, you were
This was today?
No. This was a couple.
Yesterday,
yeah. And it rings like 2 times, and he hangs up. And so I text him, and I said, "Lee, did you just call?" And he wrote back, "Yeah, no, sorry about that." And then Kevin just writes in, "Beard dial."
Yeah.
And I lost my shit. I was driving.
Oh, damn.
That's it. Yes.
I couldn't say anything, but I started cracking up laughing.
My beard wanted to talk to you. I didn't want to talk to y'all, but the beard did.
That was funny.
The Beard wanted to talk to you.
Yeah. I
remember that. That was good. Yeah.
Like sometimes you get a text message and it like the notification pops up. Like I saw this on my phone, so I didn't see the other parts, but I happened to be by when Beard Dial just popped up. And I just lost it. I was like, I don't even know what that's about. That's freaking great.
I've never heard that term before, but I thought that was funny.
I never heard it either until that moment.
You invented it.
That's the first thing I thought of.
Trademark it.
Your boom. Beard Dial. Magic Our Way 2020.
Why can't that be your last name? Kevin Beard Dial.
I could do that.
There you go.
But I don't have a beard. I have to grow a beard.
I'm going to say it's better than right? I mean, that's all I'm saying.
He's proud of how
I'm about to say, I'm pretty happy with
you
my
proud
beard.
of, yeah, you're proud. I hear that.
That's his superpower.
You got a legend for that.
If
That's
I could
true.
share some with Danny, I would.
Dude, I wish, man. I need a little some of that.
Maybe like a for
just like use your pinky on me, not the whole. I don't like the way you wave the whole hand.
like colon blow.
Yeah, be careful where you heel that.
Let's start with the pinky.
Watch how you fix your fingers.
Yes, he's force sensitive about that.
I'm sure he is. Start with the pinky. Don't wave the whole hand around like you just did.
That is nothing but a forced virgin.
Oh, oh no! Oh,
I mean,
be delicate. Be
talk to me, get me excited about what's about to happen.
Take me to dinner.
Yes,
I'll get you pumped up. Woo! All right.
What were we talking about?
Our top 10. Our top 10 of the decade.
Right, moving on.
We're on. All right, so it might interest the listeners to know real quick. So the voting on that one, Rogue One, that was one of the 3 that we all put in our top 10 list, our original top 10 list. Mm-hmm. Eli had that at 9. Kev had it at 8. I had it at 7, and Lee was the highest on it at 5.
Cool. All right. And so now we're at number 7. The number 7 movie of the decade is Black Panther from 2018. Marvel movie. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This was definitely within my 7.
Wakanda forever.
Forever. That's right.
That's it. That's it.
Awesome movie. I even have a T-shirt. You know, it's great.
You have a T-shirt that says Black Panther was great?
I should.
And on the back, Wakanda forever.
On the back, it has chocolate cake.
Umbambe.
Chocolate cake.
Chocolate cake.
Umbambe. Give us a chocolate cake.
Wakanda.
You know, we could probably get him on the podcast. I mean, didn't he do The Devil and Max Devlin? Isn't that a Disney movie? We can talk to him about that.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's funny. No, it's a great movie. I think what helped is that it was the first cinematic viewing of that character. Period. Mm-hmm. And that was awesome. The effects were great. I mean, the acting was great. I like how you say, like, the undertones of it, as far as how Wakanda was and the relationship between Black Panther and his family, tribes, everything. Yeah. It was very immersive.
It was good stuff. No, I really dug it. Yes, I like Black Panther from like the Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon series, Marvel's, and then from then on I was just like, oh yeah, I love Black Panther. And then when he came on the screen and I got a chance to see the movie, and this was the movie, if you guys remember us reviewing it, this is the one I saw on the cruise when they premiered it for the Disney Company. And I was just floored. This is amazing.
Yeah.
I was like one of maybe 5 people in the theater at like 1 a.m. on the cruise ship watching that movie, and I was just like, yeah. But there's nobody here to share in this excitement because it's like 1 in the morning.
It was definitely one of those movies where I saw it and like people would come up to me who don't normally talk to me and would be like, I know you're a comic book guy. You saw that movie, right? And I was like, yeah. And then they would so completely open up about it. I didn't have that with the other ones that are on the list, but yeah, Black Panther for sure was. It was
really well,
yeah. I liked it. Let me rephrase that. I really liked it. I didn't love it, but I really, really liked it.
I'm with you.
And that was a hard call for me. It was between this and Frozen for 10 for me. Mm-hmm. And I mean, just being honest with myself, Frozen I saw it in the theater. It changed the landscape of Disney animation and everything like that. And we kind of talked about that as we were trying to figure out this list and our criteria for voting. And Lee made that point. And I originally had it on there for that purpose, but I'm like, I remember seeing it. I didn't particularly walk away amazed by it. It's the fact that my daughter got into it and we watched it so many times over. Now it's kind of resonated, but kind of for a different reason. It's almost like I'm allowing was a 7-year-old at that time, a 7-year-old's taste in movies to influence mine. And so if I'm honest with myself, if one of the two of them's on, I'm going to be watching Black Panther.
Well, yeah, Black Panther has like spaceships and force fields and stuff. That's tough to beat.
Yeah, but Frozen has Olaf and Marshmallow, the big snow monster.
All right.
That was kind of cool.
I'm not saying it's not cool. I'm just saying it's not a spaceship with force fields in it.
Well, it's an ice castle that literally came out of the snow. They don't have that. And
Wakanda is a city that came out of
nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, we got Ball sisters in there. And
holy crap! Is there a parallel between Arendelle and Wakanda? Is this a future show? What the hell's going on?
When Arendelle melts, it becomes Wakanda. Apparently,
underneath that
in the winter.
Can I tell you? Maybe Wakanda was that unknown place that they discovered in Frozen 2. What was the name of it? Oh, I've already forgot.
Wakanda.
I just remember the spirit singing. That's all I remember.
Yes, I remember that as well. And the spirit turns. Well, spoilers, and I don't know. I'm not even going to get into it. Moving on.
Moving on.
Yeah. Yes, it was a hard choice between the two of them, but yeah, Black Panther definitely.
Black Panther, awesome stuff. All right, so we're at our number 6. And number 6 is Thor.
Give us the numbers real quick on that, Danny, though.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Black Panther, Eli at 6, Kevin at 2, Danny at 9, Lee at 9.
Awesome.
And the reason it's at 9 is because Big Hero 6 made my 10 because I lost Tangled. So There you go.
Okay. So now we're at number 6. This is our 6th movie of the decade. And it is Thor Ragnarok, released in 2017. The third. I'm sorry, the third movie in the Thor movie series.
Yes. Yeah.
And Ragnarok was just badass. That was just a lot of fun.
Talk about walking into
fun.
Yeah. Talk about walking to a movie with zero expectations after watching Thor: Dark World. So much to the point where I refused to see it in the movie theater. I refused to buy the DVD. And when I finally was able to get around to catching it, I had the most fun. I mean, it's one of those movies where it's like you'll be sitting working like, you know what? I want to go on YouTube and look up that scene when Jeff Goldblum.
Oh yeah,
like, I pardon you from life. I got to go look at that again. Oh, Sparkles! That he was just phenomenal throughout that entire movie. The humor between Thor, I could have done without seeing the Hulk's butt, but you know.
Fair.
Yeah, the Hulk's butt. Yeah, that's exactly what made it on my list. That's why
you voted
that's
for
why
it.
I voted
Piece
for
of
it.
Oh, well, now take the floor, Kevin. Really, you've got to talk now.
It is so bulbous and just green and just like full of vigor and life. Bulbous. God, I love that butt.
Are you going to use your force power on
to help him if he needs it?
Okay.
If he needs it, absolutely.
That's gonna be one big ass. I probably would go easy on the Hulk's butt.
Like a Hulk powered poop.
Yeah, Hulk would probably be pretty devastating.
Radiating of gamma.
Yeah, didn't he eat
thing.
Freddie Prinze Jr. in the comics?
Yeah,
in the comics he ate him, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He ate a lot in the Ultimates. He ate a lot of people.
Yes. The Hulk ate people.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Yes.
it was.
I never knew of this.
Yeah, it's a sidetrack, but Mark Millar.
Cannibal Hulk?
No, he was just a vicious
Fine
guy.
young Cannibal Hulk.
Yep. Mark Millar, he wrote the Ultimates. He did Kick-Ass and One and all that other stuff. When he wrote it, that was actually a segment that he had for the Hulk. And I know that because when I met him a long time ago, I was like, I love that you made the Hulk eat people. That was great.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, kid, I gotta go.
Yeah. He's like, all right, crazy person. Buy me a drink later. And
I have to get this.
yeah, the Ultimates.
No, dude, the Ultimates, really, I mean, that was really what put the Avengers right back on the map.
That's true. That's when.
Really?
That's how you got Nick Fury being Samuel L. Jackson, because that's how he was made in that book.
Yeah, they
exciting.
drew, whoever drew the book, what was his name again?
Brian Hitch.
Brian Hitch. When he drew it, he had carte blanche. He literally ripped off Samuel L. Jackson's image.
Yes.
He drew Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. And years later, they had to go to Samuel L. Jackson and kind of hat in hand be like, well, I guess you kind of know that we picture you in the Nick Fury role, so will you do it? And he did. God bless
That
him.
is awesome.
Because he's a bad mother.
I like Sam Jackson as Nick Fury. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, but that was stripped out. I saw it. But
It wasn't a casting choice. It
No.
was...
It was because of that.
Yeah.
yes.
But yeah, you know, it's funny. It's like I get taking it back to Earth Somebody's Heroes. I like the Nick Fury character when they said Samuel Jackson's going to be Nick Fury. I'm like, yeah, that works. You know, because and Earth Somebody's Heroes came out way before all that, I guess, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
Did that come out before the Hulk eating people thing, and then
Oh, the comic of the Hulk eating people.
yeah, or was Earth Somebody's Heroes after that?
Probably after that.
Oh, okay.
This
okay.
was
So
early.
that's why
this
they,
was early 2000s in the book.
Oh, so they might have based Earth Somebody's Heroes Nick Fury on that particular Samuel Jackson Nick Fury. That's interesting. Okay, we're getting on this.
Yeah, no, but
it's all very interesting just because I've slowly gotten into comic books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I told Eli this last week. I was like, I bought the whole graphic novel, The Watchmen, and so now you tell me about Hulk eating people. And I'm curious. I want to go buy it.
I was happy
Mr.
to say that.
Bluebird's on Lee's shoulder again.
I know he wants to pitch in. He has something to say
Yes.
about the Hulk eating people in his butt. What do you say? What say you, Mr. Bluebird?
No, this was one of those movies that, you know, no secret, like Marvel, all that kind of stuff. It's not on my radar, so to speak. Of course, being part of the show, movies come up, we review them, et cetera, et cetera. But this one was one of those ones I just never took the time to watch on my own. And I actually watched it about a month ago. And then when I had to do this ranking, I'm like, man, you know what? It made like my top 15. You know, not top 10, but for a movie that I had no interest in seeing at all, that I wasn't even thought about for it to rank up that high for me, I was kind of surprised myself. But it's just a fun movie, man. And you know, it's just one of those ones where it's like, okay, cool. Like I understand why people like this stuff. It was very entertaining. So
I remember I remember when Hannah came by to hang out one time, and she was like, she wanted to watch a movie, and it was on Netflix. And it's kind of funny, like how Danny said earlier, how your kid could kind of influence what you watch, because I had to watch Shrek when she was small and all that stuff. So it was like, hey, it's my turn for once. So I said, let's put on this movie, and she loved it. And but one of the things that I always like to see in that movie that puts it over the top for me is just the Hulk-Thor relationship. When, like, you know, the Hulk comes out, he's like, oh yeah, I know this guy, and then like Hulk starts beating on him and all this stuff. Like, I mean, that whole dynamic itself, it kind of breaks it, where you're used to heroes just maybe fussing at each other, but not trying to kill each other,
right?
You know, in one sense. But then the part where, like you said, the Hulk clean his business and stuff, and Thor comes in there, and then they have their heart to heart, and then Hulk's just like, you know, yo, you bad friend. Like, I crack up every time. I mean, even watching that with her, I crack up every time. And she loved the movie. Like, she had never seen it before, but even right there, she loved the movie. So, had to put it up there.
And so the voting on Thor Ragnarok went like this. Eli had it at 4. Kevin put it at 7. I had it at 8, and Lee put it at 6.
So all of us right around the middle.
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad, yeah. All right, so now we're in our top 5. And in our top 5, leading the way from 2019 is Avengers Endgame, the end of the MCU. At that moment in time.
Yes.
I mean, this is a movie that I'll talk about. Like, I didn't even know it was 3 hours. You know, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that clinched it for me is like I had to make the list because I'm always like, yeah, I enjoyed that movie a lot. I didn't even know it was 3 hours until it ended. I'm like, holy crap, I gotta pee. But before that, I was just so into the thing, and you know, the one scene that got me was just like, hey Cap, on your left. And I was like, what? Here we go. Yeah. Get you, bladder.
I'm a hold tight.
We're going on this ride. We ain't what, you know.
Yeah, it starts off great where they go after Thanos, and you're like, Thor just chopped Thanos' head off. Wait, we're 20 minutes in? What? What's going on? And then you into this alternate reality, like, where is this going? And then next thing you know, it's Back to the Future 2, and you're jumping around the different timelines and interacting with your older selves. And I was just floored from that moment on. And then when you got to the end scene where everyone just starts showing up, I mean, what a satisfactory ending. The only thing that bugged me is that they didn't have to kill Tony, but
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. And I mean,
it
of
was
course,
amazing.
We did, and of course, we did a review about it. So
We
those
watched it
listening,
together, the three of us, at least.
If you wanted more in-depth thing, you definitely could pull up that on the episode. But yeah, I was torn because I loved this one and Infinity War, but for different reasons. And I was hoping they both would make it. I was really
See, my
hoping.
thing, I thought the first Avengers movie was pretty good.
Yeah, it was.
And I had trouble choosing between the two, but I'm like, you know, I'm always talking about Endgame.
Yeah, Infinity War was a good setup, but I don't know. I couldn't see putting it in over some of the other Marvel movies.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing. Yeah.
You know,
Like
yeah.
which one? Like
It wasn't going to go over Black Panther for me.
No, not over Black Panther, not over... Well, yeah, if I start saying some of them we're going to get into.
All right,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
you're right. I hear you.
But yeah, we can definitely get into that afterwards if you want to, because
If we have time.
Yeah.
We have time.
Yeah.
All right, so the scores on Avengers Endgame, we have Eli at 3, Kevin at 5, Danny at 6, and Lee at 8.
Cool. A little bit of a bigger spread there. So
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
All right, so our fourth top movie of the decade from 2012, it's Wreck-It Ralph.
Amazing.
My number one movie, period.
Yeah.
Your number one? Yeah. You
Number
did have a
one,
movie, yeah.
period, point blank. I will watch that movie anytime, any day, any time of day. If I had one movie to watch on the deserted island for the rest of my life, it's gonna be close to another movie, but Wreck-It Ralph for me.
I was going to say, Lee, if you didn't speak up on this one, I had lost faith in you. I like the bird must have ate you or
No,
something.
he grabbed this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he grabbed it.
I stayed
By the
quiet.
cojones.
It's all up on the
Make sure I'm heard on this one, y'all.
There you go. I was
Yeah, no, it's really such a great movie.
It is.
Released and when it hit, it relates to me on a very youthful level because of all the stuff that's in it.
That's
Especially
true.
the video games. Our age, people in our age group grew up with the video game generation. When starting from the Commodore 64 to the Atari to all the television, all the things that came down, Sega, Genesis, all that until what the kids have today. We grew up with all that and in arcades and stuff, and to have that movie portray all of that and take us back to the time, man, it was just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Because who hasn't thought about, well, I wonder what happens when I leave the arcade?
Yeah.
Are they still playing each other, or is this thing still happening? I don't even know, because we didn't understand
It's like
technology.
they took Night at the Museum and figured out how to do it at an arcade, which I think is a brilliant concept. It's like, oh yeah, what if these guys all just got together and hung out afterwards?
Right.
How cool is that, seeing the Street Fighter guys hanging out with,
Oh God, that's so.
Yeah.
I love the Street Fighter guy.
Right. It's a really well done, well thought out.
Hanging out at Tappers.
Yes.
only if you're buying, buddy. Only if you're buying. I love that.
But yeah, phenomenal concept, well done. The execution of it is just almost flawless.
Cool
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah.
Cubert. And the best part is that the central hub is the freaking power strip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. They're all connected to the same damn strip, kind of a thing, or power source. It's absolutely well done.
Brilliant.
Absolutely well. Even the throwback looking animation from the different bit characters. You know, it's just brilliant. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, it was a good movie to make, and right at this time, like that's like that's time and preparation, and and great execution, and it's a fun movie. It really is.
So what do we got numbers wise, Danny?
On Wreck-It Ralph, we've got Eli at 5, Kevin at 6, Danny at 3, and Lee with 1, as he said.
Yes, absolutely.
I was gonna be surprised if he didn't have one for him.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, like the next 4 movies, including Wreck-It Ralph, any one of these could have easily, depending on the day, had been number 1 for
Fair,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so the third top movie of the decade for us, for the Magic Away podcast, is 2017's Coco from Pixar.
Oh, Coco.
Love Coco.
Coco. Oh, man, that's a movie I could watch anytime, any day. Start from any time.
Right.
You know, in fact, that happened when we were on the cruise. We were walking by the movie theater on the cruise boat, and I heard, I remember you.
Oh, remember me.
Yeah, remember me. Yeah, sorry, remember me.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, oh, it's Coco. So we walked in, and it's like, oh, we'll just dip in for a little, get off our feet, the seats. And because we're walking around playing that game, the Great Muppet thing.
Yeah.
So we're playing the game. It was like, take a little rest. We heard Coco was playing. We sat in the front row, and I don't think we left till the end of the movie.
Oh, good
we
for
finished
you.
the movie, and then it was like, okay, I guess it's time for dinner, so we got to finish the game afterwards. But yeah, we totally meant to go sit in there and just kind of hang out for a little bit, watch a little bit of it, but we ended up finishing the damn thing.
Yeah.
And it's like that every time it comes on. It's like, oh, it's Coco. It's awesome. It's such good stuff.
And again, we did an episode of that review for listeners, so you get a more in-depth thing of that. But it's a very touching movie. It hits me on a personal level. Don't need to get into that, but yeah, every time I see it, I'm still like, man.
Well, I remember for you saying when we were doing the review that it has music in it. You're not usually one for musicals.
I am not a musical guy, no.
But it has music with a purpose, and you thought it was really cool. And then when you said that, and every time I watch them, I was like, that's a damn good point.
Yeah.
It's just not musical for being musical. They're actually doing something with it, and there's a reason why they're singing.
It tells a story, and I mean, it's animated well. The characters are fun. It has a very good representation of the culture, and so there's a lot you could learn about if you were curious to kind of expand upon. It's a different style of animated movie.
And as fathers with daughters, it just touches you right in the heart. It just grabs hold of it and seizes it, because that's your worst nightmare, is having your child forget you.
Right.
Yeah.
That was always
and
my
not
thing.
knowing why you left, if you did leave.
Right. Just see the elder person just forget, period. Like, I'm going to cry. I think I kind of had a tear. Everybody had a tear that saw that movie. I don't cry that much.
Yeah.
I don't.
This is definitely to me, like, of my top 5, this was the most emotional. As you guys already talked about, the father-daughter, the elderly parents, grandparents, and things like that. This is one of those ones where you better have some tissues ready if you're going to sit down and watch this one. So maybe that's also why I didn't put it in my top 2, because it might be a little emotional draining to watch this movie right now. But, but still, I mean, and just all of the animation on it was so beautiful. And then you saw some of the backstory of how, they animated all those leaves and all those, how many, all the artistry and the time it took to put all that together in the City of Lights and all that stuff. It really made you appreciate the time and the work that got put into this animation. So
that Ernesto de la Cruz, what a bastard!
You bastard!
Yeah, I mean, what a swerve that I got with that dude.
Yeah, that dude was crazy. This is the movie. I was just like, oh man, Pixar, you're not going to do it. You're not going to make me cry. Oh man, you almost had it. The water was there. It's like,
This was one, like, that was the first really good Pixar movie I think I've seen in a while. I haven't been a big fan of the Pixar sequels at all.
Right.
So
it was a good comeback for Pixar.
It was a very good comeback for Pixar. It showed that they can do original stories still that touch the heart
and do it well.
Yeah, and do it really, really well. I mean, I don't know, man. There was something about that film. I mean, I like films that kind of take you to new worlds and let you explore it a little bit and see what's happening in there and stuff like that. That's why I'm kind of looking forward to this new one with the trolls and their dad, but it's half a dad.
Half a dad.
What is it? Upward, onward?
Upward.
There you go.
Yeah.
Upward, onward.
Upward, onward. Uh-huh.
Half a dad.
Yeah. Half a dad, yeah. Have a half a dad.
Dapper half a dad.
I can't
Quarter
wait.
dad.
Well, that's just a pair of shoes. Oh, man. But yeah, no, I can't not watch it whenever it's on. I just get suckered in, even in the softy parts,
No, that's the truth.
Yes.
That's definitely the truth. And that whole end of sequence where she's the mom singing or the great grandma singing on the stage. Actually, when she first starts singing, that threw me. I was like, oh man, wow, she really does like music. You know, and she just. Oh man, it's just freaking awesome.
They throwing shoes at people while they walking in the street. That you get comedy right there.
The little doggy and the cat.
Yes.
That whole the Alebrijes. Is that
Alebrijes? Yeah.
Alebrijes, yes.
Yeah, so you get a little bit of everything with this movie, and
that damn flower bridge.
Y'all call it the Dorito Bridge.
Dorito Bridge. Yeah.
Does that make you want some Doritos though? For real?
Every time.
For real, dude. I didn't even think of
it.
it. When y'all said it, I'm like, yeah.
Doritos should sponsor that because it makes me want to grab a bag every time.
I know, like if when Day of the Dead occurs, like if Doritos was smart, they would build a whole bridge in their product right there.
But it's like, even if those skeletons are walking across it, I'd be like, man, they still look delicious.
It does.
In a weird way.
It really does. I mean, and the whole thing was just very vibrant. I mean, I could go on and on.
We probably did in our review.
Beautiful, brilliant, wonderful film.
So awesome. So now
votes on that one.
Yeah.
Real quick. So she comes as no surprise that one was my and Kevin's number one movie, Coco. Lee had it at 4 and Eli had it at 7.
Nice. All right, top 2. So our number 2 movie of the decade is Guardians of the Galaxy from Marvel from 2014.
The original
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I wanted this one to be the number one personally.
Dude, it could have easily been the number one. It just depended on the day. I guess when it comes to more the quintessential Disney movies, I don't really put, you're grading a bit on a curve.
I know why it's 2, but I mean, can I sway y'all to switch them by any chance?
Dude, look, this is without a doubt my favorite Marvel movie. Mm-hmm. It's not even close. I mean, and that's a high bar to clear. It's up there. It really is up there. That's the Marvel movie where it's like, if I got a friend and they're like, yeah, I'm not into all this superhero bullshit, I'm like, just watch this one.
Let's send it to Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, just watch it. This one is cinema. I promise you, there's cinema happening.
Yeah. No, that's a very good movie.
Oh, no, it's great.
Lots of fun.
Yeah. Great movie.
For me, like, again, I'm not knowing anything about Marvel or anything like that. I saw the poster for this movie, and it's got a raccoon with the gun on the shoulder of a tree thing, and like, what is this stupid shit? What the hell? And I was like, I'm not going to watch that stupid stuff. And then I watched it, I'm like, oh my God, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen in my life. Like, it just, the way it was put together, the music, the comedy, the action. I mean, I really had a hard time between this and Wreck-It Ralph when I was doing my top. I mean, I wanted to cheat and tie them and just be like, they're both number one. Mm-hmm. And that's really, I originally on my spreadsheet put number one for both of them because it was that hard to decide. Again, Wreck-It Ralph was just kind of that nostalgia thing that pushed it over the edge for me, but it was so close between this and Guardians for me. And I can't believe that I almost never watched this movie. That's the crazy part. So just, like you said, Danny, like maybe you're not into comic books and things like that, or maybe, so I'm just trying to open my mind up a little bit. Mm-hmm. So that's just something to keep in mind. Sometimes these movies will surprise you. And this was one of those ones that just blew me away. Absolutely. Lots of fun. Definitely our number 2, worthy of that position. And what do the numbers look like on that, Danny? Well, yeah, Eli put that at number 1, as he said. Me and Kevin both had that at number 4, and Lee had that at number 2. Awesome. Yeah. So we're coming up on our number 1, but before we do that, let's quickly recap what our 10 was of the decade. Number 10 was Saving Mr. Banks. Number 9 was Big Hero 6. Number 8 was Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Number 7 was Black Panther. Number 6, Thor Ragnarok. Number 5, Avengers Endgame. Number 4, Wreck-It Ralph. Number 3, Coco. Number 2 was Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, the original one, and the number 1 movie of the decade. Well, before you say anything, I'm just wondering how many listeners are out there right now. They're like, these motherfuckers haven't talked about Frozen or Moana. These boys. We did mention Frozen in a joke. We mentioned it in a joke, but they're like, whatever one they say, I'm firing off an angry email, post. Yeah, going on Facebook. But how could you leave this one off? So I'm curious to see if they could stop right now and just go ahead and go on our Facebook page and say, I think you were about ready to leave off fill in the blank. Well, we could have went through the whole list, but then
we would be doing this show into next week.
We should just cut the show right here and just like, okay, guys, we'll tell you number one next week.
Yeah, tune in next week.
Tune in next week. You'll find out what number one is and send us your angry emails.
Same a week in time, same a week in channel. How you doing? Glad y'all listened to that. Tune in for number one
All
next
right,
week.
what's number one, Kevin?
Number one for the Magic Our Way podcast for the decade 2010-2019 is Moana from
Make
2016.
way, make way.
Make way for Moana.
Yes,
That
indeed.
is our number one. That's how it came up to be.
You're welcome.
You know, do we want to throw the numbers in real quick just to see how it got here?
Yeah, sure thing. We can do this. Okay, so Eli had it at number 2. I had it at number 2. Kevin had it at number 3. Lee had it at number 3.
So all hovering within that little spot, and it just happens to be the number one movie for us. as a
Yes,
whole
like
for this
collectively, that would be the one movie we all could seem to agree on the most that we'll sit there and watch together, I suppose is what this means.
It's a big thing because there were a lot of Marvel movies. I was like, man, I love this movie, that movie, but it's like, yeah, even up against Moana, I'm like, I can't do it. I can't.
You can't go against the Rock.
I can't go against it. It's
Can't go against Grassy No Moana.
I know, right? That movie had me emotionally invested.
Yeah, every time I watch that movie, I think the words Grassy No Moana. I was like, oh, there she is.
Bobby's bone, all like that.
Yeah, that's all I remember is Eli equating it to Maui. His bone was broken, and the lady had to fix his bone so that way it would work.
Yeah.
So he was empowered by it. I remember that conspiracy theory to this day, and I think that was brilliant. But I appreciate it beyond that.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
The music was just phenomenal. The songs got immediately stuck in your head.
This was beautiful.
The adventure they went on from Tamatoa to the Kakamora to Tafiti or Tahara, whatever the hell. What was the bad one? It was Tafiti was a good one, and then it was Takata.
Takata and Fugue.
I don't know. It sounds like a anime show names at this point.
Hirohito.
Takata, Takeda.
Big Hero or Baymax makes an appearance in there.
Oh, there you go.
One of the contacts.
Halo
On a
shows
coconut.
up.
He's one of the coconuts. Yeah. Absolutely. So, yeah, a beautiful movie, too.
Yes.
Beautifully drawn, everything else. Definitely deserving of its number one.
And another great story about culture.
Another great, absolutely. This is their way to kind of make up to what they had done when they did Lilo and Stitch. They paid respects to the culture and consulted people that knew about it, and they tried to make it as authentic as they could.
Yeah,
I like
the confines of a cartoon. Yes,
and again, like what I was saying before, it takes you to a whole that when you go to the realm of monsters.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like you're exploring this whole new world that you're like, oh my god, this is so cool that there would be this place. You enter in through a volcano and you descend through all this, and then you get in the sea, and then all of a sudden it's like Waterworld, but better.
Yeah.
They're battling these ships on the ocean. So
I am still
really
falling. A human. It's a human doing it in the realm of monsters.
So anyway, brilliant movie. Definitely my favorite. So sorry to Frozen. I tried to get it on here, but really, honestly, it just didn't connect with me that much.
Yeah, I didn't. I tried to get Frozen in because I knew there'd be people just like. But when I was out, like you said, if I'm honest with myself, I don't think Frozen would have beat any of these other ones for me.
Yeah, the only reason that Frozen means something to you is because it meant something to your kids.
Right, exactly. I remember watching it first time in the theater. I was like, oh, it's just like a Broadway show. I was like, okay, they took that formula, they took the whole idea of Wicked, and I think I did say that in a review, and that was it. So, it's not just because I'm a boy. That Frozen didn't make it, just to throw that out there. But, compared to the other stuff, who knows? But if Frozen didn't make your list, well, I'd be curious to hear what that list is.
This is a very...
I'm looking at it now and seeing it in its totality. This is a very male-centric list.
Yes. We're very male-centric.
Guardians, Coco, Wreck-It Ralph, Avengers Endgame, Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther, Rogue One, Big Hero 6. The only two that you could probably step outside of that is Saving Mr. Banks and Moana. Although I'm sure a lot of females are going to chime in and say, I love all those movies too, and Chris Hemsworth is dreamy. And no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I don't see a lot of princess movies like Tangled.
Yeah, that's fair.
Although I did have Tangled in my list, and probably that might be how we want to close this out real quick.
Yeah.
So just kind of give you a sense of it. My list pretty much mirrored a lot of what we did there. Coco, Moana, Wreck-It Ralph, Guardians of the Galaxy, Saving Mr. Banks, Avengers Endgame, Rogue One, Thor Ragnarok, Tangled at 9, and then finally Black Panther. That was my list. Eli actually had Avengers Infinity War 1, which I thought was weird because I'm like, wow, that's not even the best Avengers movie.
I liked the fact that they had new characters in there. There was like all different ways of action, and then of course the end it makes you feel something, you know. So
yeah, okay, but I don't know.
I hear you. That's why
Everyone turns into dust and floats away, but okay. Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
But it was the people that turned into dust, damn it.
Moana 3, Thor Ragnarok 4, Spider-Man Homecoming 5. That was a good inclusion. I thought about trying to put that one in there as well. But there were so many good Spider-Man movies. Oh my God. Avengers Endgame, Black Panther, Captain America Winter Soldier, Inside Out, and Rogue One. I really, if the original Captain America would have been done during Disney, I would have put that in.
Yeah, that's
for sure.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah, maybe even Iron Man. The first one.
Very first Iron Man. I'm a big origin story fan. I find the sequels don't really do much for me. No. Inside Out, I still maintain, Eli, that you did not like that movie. Go back and listen to your
I'm going to go back to, because I thought I liked the psychology of it.
You might have liked some of
aspects,
yeah, you might have liked the concept of it, but the movie itself, you didn't seem to be.
This was within that list, though, so I mean, I went with it. I went for it.
All right, well, let me know, because
all right,
that's just my memory of it. So 10, Rogue One, Lee went with Wreck-It Ralph 1, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Coco, Moana, Rogue One, Zootopia at 6. That was another one that would have made my top 15 right there. Monsters University, that's one where Lee and I think are on an island on this one because I love that movie. That was another one easily top 15. It almost could have made my top 10. I do love that movie. I like it more than I like the original Monsters Inc. and I'm not really much of a sequel guy. Tangled, that's another one Lee and I agreed on. Jungle Book, pretty good. I like that one. Muppets, that was another one that could have easily made my list. So
yeah, Monsters University made my top 15 for sure.
Yeah,
that's a guarantee. I'm looking at my list right here.
Okay, so then Kevin had Coco 1, Black Panther, Moana, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers Endgame, Wreck-It Ralph, Thor Ragnarok, Rogue One, Saving Mr. Banks, and Big Hero 6. Congratulations, Kevin, you're the winner.
Yay!
You got the most that stayed on your original list. Yeah,
you get a list. He gets a list. Everybody gets a list.
All right.
Yeah, that was very, very good.
I'm sorry.
You have no speech.
All right, Richard, Kevin is eating during the podcast again, and he's waiting to swallow.
Oh,
we kind of caught him off guard there.
That's quite a bulbous meal you're having.
Yes.
Sorry.
He's like, winner, jam things down my throat.
Lister for closers.
I stuck it in, and then I was like, winner. I was like, oh crap. Chew. And it's like, it wasn't gonna work.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You had to get that in there, huh?
Yeah, but anyway, guys, that's our list. So you heard our individual top 10s, and then you heard the overall Magic Our Way top 10. And of course, we want to hear what your top 10 would have been, what movies would have made your top 10 or whatever else, because there's a lot to choose from. There's about 125 to choose from.
Did anyone list everything that they did watch? Like, that's how I started my list, and I realized that I'd watched 51 movies by Disney in the last 10 years, which seems a little low.
You know what's funny?
What seems low to you?
And in 10 years, yeah. I mean, that's like 5 a year.
You know what's funny? This is what I did last night. I watched John Cabot because I remember Eli saying that he thought it was pretty good.
Oh, Red Tails, yeah.
Yeah. No, John Cabot.
I didn't.
Didn't you say you didn't like John Cabot?
I didn't put that down.
Is he from Mars? Is this John Cabot?
Yeah, John Cabot from Mars. Yeah,
John Cabot from Mars.
Did you say at some point you like John Cabot or whatever?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't like John Cabot?
I picked Red Tails, and then.
Well, I did watch Red Tails too, so I watched that as well. But that came out before Disney acquired Lucasfilm, so we couldn't make it.
Right, of course.
But it was still good.
My favorite episode of Red Tails is when Uncle Scrooge.
You're not right.
Stops the Beagle Boys from breaking into the money bank.
That's so wrong.
Red Tails. Woo!
How do you spell John Cabot?
I didn't put that down, Kev.
No, but it was on like the D23 list.
Yes, it was on the list, but I didn't.
And I watched it. For some reason, I thought you liked it, and so I watched it Saturday, and I watched it, and I was like,
it's good.
It's all right. It's not bad. I was wondering if it would make my list because, like, well, if you likes it, this was like I thought you liked it. So Eli liked it, so I figured I'd give it a shot.
Thank you. All right,
it didn't work, but
right because I didn't. Yeah.
But apparently because you didn't like it,
so my reputation is still somewhat intact.
Yes. Your reputation is intact. For some reason, I thought you liked it, but I guess not.
Can somebody tell me I'm looking it up. I'm like John Cabot, Italian navigator and explorer, 1947 discovery of North American Commission of Henry VIII.
Wait, hold on. What's
you keep saying movie? John Cabot. I'm like, who is John Cabot?
Wait, what am I? Let's see.
John Wick.
I like John Wick. Yeah, I like
maybe
that.
you said John Wick, but
John Carter, sorry. John Carter.
Oh, John Carter from Mars.
Yeah, from Mars.
That's why I made that joke at first. It's like, wait, what?
I still didn't say that, but
Yeah, now that you said John Wick, I remember you saying John Wick, and I'm like, and because I'm watching this, and I'm like, that's not Keanu. I'm like, what the hell movie was that? But it's like, okay, Eli he collected, so John Carter, I'll give it a shot.
That's awesome.
It didn't make it off my top 126 list.
I like how that simple misunderstanding cost Kevin 2 hours of his life.
I am so sorry, Kevin.
I struggled through that thing.
You could have texted me like, are you sure you like this? You like it? John Cabot, Chinese blood. What?
Now that you say John Wick, it's like, well, Keanu's in that one.
Yeah, just so you know, if I like a movie and be outside of this Disney realm, there's usually explosions or some sort of action going on in it.
Well, I'm sure there's explosions.
There's a lot of action in that movie. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, I'll go check it out. There, you recommend it?
Well, for eye candy, in terms of the Princess from Mars, you might enjoy that.
All right, so I'm writing down right now. Kevin recommends Mars Needs Moms.
So, but I kind of want to see that.
I want to see that too because y'all brought it up. Yeah,
because Berkeley Breathed. I don't remember how you say his last name. He said he did Bloom County and Opus and all that, and that stuff was brilliant.
Yes.
And he wrote that book, and then they adapted it into a movie.
Wow,
I'm so curious to see what went wrong.
and you said that, and that's what makes me want to see it.
And that's what
I was curious.
Can I tell you? Like when you said that, it kind of made me scared for the first time about Timmy Failure, because Stefan Pastis is again another well-known, awesome cartoonist who did one of the best strips and doing one of the best strips, I should say. And I'm hoping that they do justice to his work because he wrote a kid's story and they're making a movie out of it, and that's what happened with Mars Needs Mom. So
hopefully something good happens. Yeah,
I hope so.
Yes. And John Carter was a comic book too, so that you can still read that now and stuff. But
absolutely. So, guys, we want to hear what your top 10s are, man. Let us know, and we'll tell you at the end of the show how to get in touch with us a little later. Well, guys, we hope you enjoyed that discussion of the top 10 movies of the decade, 2010 to 2019. If you want to learn more about us, MagicAway.com is the way to go. There you'll find our social media links, past episodes, and more. You can also get in touch with us through the following ways. You can shoot us an email at show@magicourway.com, leave us a voicemail via our SpeakPipe widget on our homepage, or call or text us at 1-815-MO-WEEKEND. That is 1-815
Mr. Goodbar
669-4226. Sponsor us.
This whole show's been sponsored by Mr. Goodbar.
Almost on every show, I eat a good bar. I love your candies.
you smiling.
I want it. I love the candies.
Sugar high.
Sugar high. Yeah, that's right. Well, it's better than the caffeine show last week. Well, I was just like,
oh my God, you were possessed, man.
I was. It was craziness.
I've listened to that 3 times so far.
Really?
Yes.
Did it go really fast because I was on caffeine?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
I was like, yeah, that's right. That boy was on a whole nother level right there.
Yeah, I was tripping. Yeah, never again. I'm not going to do caffeine again when I perform. I don't drink caffeine when I play music, so I don't know why I did that when I was doing this. It's the same thing.
You must have had a long week.
It must have been. No, but I'm not going to do that again because that was just nuts. But anyway.
And Mr. Goodbar has nuts. So,
there you go.
This is better.
Yeah,
you're consistent.
You get it. Your chocolate fix, your caffeine fix, and your
my nut fix. Yeah, get my nuts.
Get all that.
Yeah.
Tell us how to get your nuts fixed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of nuts.
Right. So if you want the story on getting his nuts fixed, here's the glory. You can go to ironcomics.com and see the work for Project Geisha and Savages and Molly Be Damned. Of course, there's a link to this podcast so you never miss a happy beat about somebody's nuts and chocolate. Otherwise, you can go to facebook.com, find me there, Eli H. Ives, as long as you're a real person. Cool. If you're a bot, not. Also, Project Geisha has a Facebook page, so you just go to facebook.com and go to Project Geisha. You'll see some love right there. Thank you guys for the new likes. Instagram, I'm over there, EIV504. And, of course, on Twitter, I can be found at HandCocktail166. So if you appreciate the madness, then you're just bringing me the gladness. Thank you very much.
And if you want to book a trip so that you can go to your nearest movie theater and watch any of the movies, or your Blockbuster and buy... You don't even...
Blockbuster. Blockbuster video.
Somewhere right now, Kirk Landry's gone, that's right, Captain Marvel didn't make their list.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You out of rats is like, damn them.
Anyway, if you want to book a trip, man, do it with Lee. Lee, tell him how to do this.
Just give me a call at 832-431-1621. That's 832-HULKBUTT. 32 HULKBUTT. You can email me at lee@magicourway.com. Check out the Facebook page at facebook.com/Lastovica Travel. That's LASTOVICA Travel. Instagram, you can find me at You Got a Friend in Lee Travel. Do any of that, we'll get you hooked up and booked up with no
Gamma Buttavica.
That's so stupid.
Of all the stuff to pull. And
Oh my God.
Hulk's butt cheek.
The minute we said it, he was writing feverishly. Don't forget it.
Hulk
The
butt.
Hulk's butt. Hulk's bulbous butt.
In my head, I'm trying to figure out how to spell that as a phone number.
Hulk's butt.
It's like, yeah, it's like, what if I get Hulk butt for Lee or something? I don't know.
Put 2 T's behind it. I think.
I wanted to get the Shaggy TA for him, but I don't know if that did that ever work out, Lee?
No, I haven't. I got to figure that out, dude. Like, I can't find anything. Shaggy TA, though, was good.
Shaggy TA was good. Anyway, guys, if you want to support the show as a whole, do so through the following ways. Buy us some beignets, buy some clothing from our shop, leave a rating and review wherever you download podcasts. Also, remember, we are part of the BS Podcast Network, whose motto is We Speak Our Minds, so you don't have to. So be sure to support our partners of podcasting over there. Finally, if you want to have a place in which you can freely speak your Disney mind without fear of retribution, join us in the Mohican Pleasure Island 33 Facebook group. There you'll have a chance to interact with all the famous Mohicans, as well as Danny, Eli Lee, and yours truly. And we thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to us and making us a part of your Disney fan life. We appreciate you always and love hearing from our listeners. All opinions are welcome on the Magic Hour podcast, so get in touch with us today. So, Mohicans, ladies and gentlemen, we say Quaharini. My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
Magic out.
I have every intention of eating those bananas for breakfast, but I still somehow end up with tacos.
Chocolate cake.
Hey, this is Eli from the Magic Outway podcast. What